Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is November 13th, 2022. So, if you guys just watched the rigged NFL game between the Vikings and the Bills, this was probably the most entertaining game that I think you're going to see all year. And that includes the Super Bowl. This was just action-packed from the beginning all the way to the end. The game even went to overtime as well. But I mean, if you know Gematria, this should be obvious to you, right? Why they were 63 combined points in this game. Remember what happened earlier this year at the Tops in Buffalo, at the Tops supermarket, where they had the shooter go in the supermarket and kill, I think it was like 10 black people. That ritual, not only was it synced up with the Buffalo Bills, but that was a huge 63 ritual. And the reason why 63 matters is because in Gematria, Buffalo equals 63. That's why they had 63 combined points in this game. And this is another reason why the Buffalo Bills, if you notice, they fell to 6-3 for the season. If you guys are, in case you're new here, which I doubt, because a lot of people that don't know about this stuff really usually don't come across my videos for some reason because of the censorship. But notice, okay, so what Gematria is, it's a simple practice of coding numbers into words, names, and phrases. And this very systematic code of applying numbers to letters and words, this is the code that the elites, the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order, who are the ones scripting the games, this is the code that they are using to script out the outcomes of these rigged football games. A lot of you probably never heard of this because this stuff has been kept a secret for a very long time. But once you understand how this stuff works and how they're rigging the games and learn how to look out for all the clues during the game, then you'll be able to predict the outcomes of these rigged football games like we're doing in this community. I think one of the biggest indicators that the Vikings was going to win today, if you saw the game, the Vikings running back, I think he exploded for an 81-yard run. I think that's what it was. He had an 81-yard run, and he scored the touchdown. And if you saw the game, they kept showing the number 81, because this is another thing that they like to do, right? They like to, if you pay attention to the cameraman, right? He always zooms in on a particular jersey number, and that number that they're focusing on is usually an indicator of one of the two teams' record. Right, they kept showing the Vikings quarter. I'm not too familiar with the names of these players, so I gotta look them up because I don't really watch football at all. But number 18 for the Vikings, I gotta look up this guy's name. I know his last name is Jefferson. Okay, so Justin Jefferson, he is the wide receiver for the Vikings. He wears the number 18. This is probably the player of the game. If you saw the game, this was the guy that caught the one-hand catch on a 4th and 24, basically a Hail Mary catch. The guy, Kirk Cousins, throws the ball 25 yards. The guy catches it with one hand, just like Odell Beckham Jr. did. And the reason they're able to do these catches is because they're using these gloves that I suspect have some type of magnetic technology. But whatever, I can't prove that because I'm not an NFL player. I can't show you guys the glove and show you how it look. When you throw the ball, the glove catches it on its own. But I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. That's why you guys are starting to see so many one-hand catches by these football players. But this was probably the player of the game, number 18 of the Vikings, Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver. And think about it, 18 is just a reflection of the number 81, right? So look, so the Bills become 6-3. Buffalo equals 63. They had a big 63 ritual at the Top supermarket earlier this year where the shooter comes in and kills 10 black people. It was synced up with the opener, the Buffalo Bills versus the Rams. That shooting happened 117 days before the start of the NFL season. Notice Buffalo Bills is 117. Buffalo Bills is 117. The shooting happened 117 days before the start of the NFL season. And remember, the opener was the Bills versus the Rams, right? If you notice Bills in Gematria, it equals 81 and it also equals 18. And that's why the Vikings today became 8-1. They did it against the team with the 81 connection, right? Now, this game was a little tricky because Buffalo Bills, they also have a 72 connection. So they could have, they could have won, and both teams would have became 7-2. But this is why you have to look at other things as well. If you notice, Vikings in Gematria equals 91. So think about it. By them becoming 8-1, next week against the Dallas Cowboys, they can possibly become 9-1. Right? Vikings using the alphabetical order is 91. And this is how they're rigging the game. They're using this code to script out the outcomes, right? Yeah, like look at this. Like yesterday, we had the Brooklyn Nets defeating the Los Angeles Clippers, right? Notice how Brooklyn Nets is 154. 154 using the reverse alphabetical order, right? If you look up Tyronn Lue, who's the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers, yesterday against the Brooklyn Nets, he picked up his 154th career loss. Look at that. He picked up his 154th career loss against the team that equals 154, the Brooklyn Nets. And if you don't believe me, you can just look up the box score, right? And that score, this was yesterday. The Nets defeated the Clippers 110-95. And yesterday, this was a big underdog, so we was able to benefit off the plus money, because I think the Nets were like a 2 or 3 point underdog to the Clippers, and they won, right? So they became 6-7 for the season. Dropped the Clippers to 7-6, and gave Tyronn Lue his 154th career loss. Right, Brooklyn Nets is 154. Now today, the Bills, they lost the game and made the Vikings 8-1 for the season. And look, this is what we do on Patreon every single week. I try to do it every day, but every day we don't find games as solid as this one. This was probably the best game because, okay, so if you bet it on this game, this is what I hate about the NFL, and this is what they do to confuse people, right? So Josh Allen, he wasn't supposed to play this game because he was on concussion protocol, right? So the whole week they was telling us that this quarterback was going to play, Case Keenum. Case Keenum was supposed to start for the Buffalo Bills, but you see what they did? They had Josh Allen play because he was never really injured, because the injuries are all fake, just like how the games are fake. Because why would they risk their franchise player playing when he just suffered a concussion? That doesn't make sense from a franchise standpoint, right? Why risk this player? Why risk your franchise player? He just got a concussion. Why would you speed him up so quick? Why would you bring him in? Why wouldn't you give him another extra week of rest, right? And that's because the games are rigged, the injuries are fake. These players are not ever really injured. So look what they did. So instead of having this guy come, because if this guy would have played, a lot of the bettors would have put their money on the Vikings. But what they did was they announced that Josh Allen was going to play. So now everybody's hedging their bets, saying, oh my God. Because the moment they announced that Josh Allen was going to come back, if you notice, the Bills opened up as a 3.5 point favorite. Once they announced that Josh Allen was coming back, the Bills became 6.5 point favorites. So this was the best game of the day, because I said the Vikings are still going to win. It doesn't matter that they're 6.5 point underdogs. They're going to become 8-1 because Bills is 81, and the Bills are going to become 6-3 in their 63rd NFL season. And this stuff, you can verify all this stuff. Like, I don't understand why a lot of people look at my videos and say that I'm reaching and that I'm pulling things out of the air. Like, I'm not, just like all this stuff. Everything that I'm telling you, you can verify on your own. Look at this. Buffalo Bills all-time stats. Let's see. It should come up here. Look. The Buffalo Bills are in their 63rd NFL season. Right? Today, there was a total of 63 points scored in the game. Right? It ended 33-30, which is 63 points. And the Bills fell to 6-3 for the season in their 63rd season. Right? Buffalo is 63. I don't understand why people listen to that and it doesn't register to them. Like, how is that all possible? How is all these 63s just lining up that way? The day they become 6-3, 63 points was scored in the game in their 63rd season. Isn't that too many 63s? How is all these 63s lining up? And the fact that Bills equals 81 and their opponent also becomes 8-1 in that game after their running back has an 81 yard touchdown to I think to score the first point for the Vikings. How is that even possible for all that stuff to be lining up this way? The way it's possible is because, again, they're scripting the games using this simple code known as Gematria. Just like how yesterday the Brooklyn Nets gave Tyronn Lue his 154th career loss. Stuff is simple, really simple stuff. So yeah, so what we do every day and every week in football, because football is weekly, it's a weekly event. We give out, we try out the code and see what makes the most sense and what team has the best narrative to win the game. Now, a lot of games are difficult to decode because, again, this stuff is mathematics, and it doesn't matter how good you are in math. You're not gonna always score 100 on the test. You know, math is very complicated, and when you're looking at things from the outside out, from the outside in, you tend to overlook certain things because, again, you don't know everything that they're planning to do. But certain things are simple to see, easy to see, like how on Thursday night the Panthers beat I forgot who they played. Let me just look it up. Oh, they played the Falcons. What am I saying? They played the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday night, right? And that game was played a day before the Black Panther movie came out. And if you watch the Black Panther movie, I mean, just think about part one. Let's say you haven't seen part two, but part one, who are the two rivals, right? It's the Black Panthers versus the Atlantis. That's the theme of part two. I mean, me personally, I haven't seen part one. I did go see part two because I wanted to really understand what was this. Because I knew part two was going to be a tribute to Chadwick Boseman, who died 115 weeks prior to that movie coming out. And Panthers is 115 and like Masonic and killing. But I wanted to see what was all the symbolism they was going to show us in that film. And I did see a lot of things that I'm going to speak about at a later time with that film. But just think about it. So in the movie, they had the Black Panthers defeat the Atlantis. A day after, on Thursday Night Football, they had the Panthers defeat the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, what are the odds? Like, how is it that these two teams are playing on primetime a day before this movie comes out? A movie associated with Panthers. Isn't it obvious that they're scripting, they're lining up things this way purposely? I mean, I think that's obvious. I mean, I don't know how people are like looking at this stuff and like, oh, that's just coincidence. I mean, everything cannot be a coincidence. Because these people do these things every single day. Every single day. And look, we are predicting this stuff before it happens. I have a crazy parlay that I'm waiting for. I still need one more team to come through. I'm not going to release that pick because, again, I charge for this stuff. But I have like a 16 parlay and 5 already hit. I need that other team to win the game, and then I wish I could show you guys. If the game was to end now, I would have showed you guys these 6 picks. Like, how am I able to put 6 picks together so accurately like that? It just, people always say that I'm lucky and shit. Like, that shit gets on my nerves when people say that. But yeah, Case Keenum, who I thought was gonna start the game, he had a good narrative to lose as well. But I see why they didn't play him, right? They didn't play him because they wanted people to put more money on the Buffalo Bills because that's how Vegas works, right? They announced that Josh Allen comes back. Everybody starts to panic, starts to hedge their bet. Oh, my gosh, let me take my money out and put it on the Bills now to cover the spread or to beat the money line. And no, that's not what's going to happen. And you gotta understand that it doesn't matter how high the spread is. It doesn't matter how much points you're down by. This was an unbelievable comeback. I think they was down by like 13 points in this game, the Vikings. And they still was able to come back and win the game in overtime. I mean, just look at the first half points, right? It was 24-10. It was a video game blown out in the first half. So after the Buffalo Bills dominated in the first half, they was only able to score 6 points in the second half. It's just such a joke. And just think about the catches that these people was making. Like Justin Jefferson making a one-hand catch on a 4th and 24. If he drops that pass, the game is over. So think about how perfect all this stuff has to be. That's the other impressive part about all this shit. How precise it is, how perfect it is, and I understand why it's so perfect every time. It's because they're using technology. I'm pretty sure that's what is making these field goals miss. How these players are able to catch these one-hand catches is the technology. The same thing in basketball. How Curry is able to shoot half-court shots effortlessly, like how they say, effortlessly, which is bullshit. It's not effortlessly. It's well, it is because you're letting the machine, the technology, do the work for you. So it is effortlessly. So that's another way to mock the people when they tell people that Steph Curry is shooting all these threes effortlessly. He is. He's not putting in any effort. They're right about that. The effort is coming from the technology. But yes, 63 points in Buffalo's 63rd season. They become 6-3. And I got so many haters on Patreon. I'm like, listen, let me tell you guys something, right? If you don't like what I do, you don't respect my work, you can just easily unsubscribe. Like I keep producing winning weeks. It's like if I go 10, if I go like 1, if I go like 10-1, then that one day that I get that one pick wrong, it's like all the trolls come out of their caves. It's like, oh, this guy's the worst. This guy's terrible. Like, fuck you. First of all, haven't you seen, like, you're not paying attention to the other 9 picks that we just got correct? Yesterday we nailed the Brooklyn Nets. Today we got the Buffalo Bills. On the parlay tier, like I said, I put out 4 picks on there. We just need one more game to come through, and I would have hit a 14 parlay today. like what else you want me to do? Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's never enough with these people. I give people a free pick. I'll tell them people the Astros are going to win the World Series on the anniversary of the Astro World Festival tragedy. All the trolls go back in their cave when they see that pick is correct. But let me put out another free pick on YouTube and get it wrong. All the trolls are going to come back out of their cave and like, oh, simple truth, simple losses, and all these fake stupid nicknames that they give me when I'm wrong. But then when I'm right, they go and hide in their cave, which is weird. Don't you understand how hard this stuff is? This stuff is it is hard. It's some not every game is hard is as hard as others, but there are certain games that are hard to decipher. Just gotta be honest about that. But stuff like this is just such easy to see. I mean, if you know the knowledge, you should be getting stuff like this right. And I put up here 63 over 72 because a lot of people kept telling me, no, they're going to become 7-2, bro. Both teams are going to become 7-2 because Buffalo Bills equals 72. That's where experience comes into play. Okay? 63 is a way more important number to Buffalo in their 63rd season after they had that big 63 ritual at the top supermarket this year. Isn't like the governor 63 years old or something like that? I don't remember because I didn't cover that ritual, but I think let me see, the governor of Buffalo. Let me see how old she is. I think she's 63 years old. Yeah, Kathy Hochul. How old is Kathy Hochul? Let's see. Oh yeah, she just turned 64. But when the ritual happened, it happened while she was 63. A big 63 ritual in Buffalo while the governor, Kathy Hochul, was 63 years old. Synced up with the rigged NFL season. And this is why this stuff is sick, because like I said the other day when I made my World Series video, people are dying in connection to a sports game. Because I don't know for sure if people died at that supermarket. Like, I don't know if people died at the Astro World Festival. But if they did die, just think about how sick that is. People are underground right now in a casket because of a football game or in a baseball game. I mean, that's fucking disturbing. That is very disturbing. Yeah, so Like I said, I got other games that I'm waiting for, but what was the other game I gave out today? Oh yeah, I think I don't remember, man. There was other games that I gave out today. I just don't remember. Did I give out the Dolphins? I think I did give out the Dolphins. What was the riddle with the Dolphins? Oh yeah, so Tua, I think he became 7-1 for the season. Browns equals 71. Yeah, we also had the Browns on that parlay. Yeah, 71. If you look up Tua, Tua is the quarterback for the Dolphins. He should be 7-1 for the season because he missed a couple of games because of his fake injury. Yeah, so he came into this game 6-1 and became 7-1 against the Browns. Notice Browns equals 71 in Gematria. And there was other things with that game as well, but those are my other. It's in my notes, but I think he became 20-9 for his career. Miami Dolphins is 209. Yeah, that's what it was. I remember now. You see how he's 19-9. All right, today they became 20. He became 20-9 for his career. Just write out Miami Dolphins using the alphabetical order. Look, Miami Dolphins equals 209. Oh, actually, in the reverse alphabetical order. This is Tua. I can't say his last name, but this is his record for his career right now. He's 20-9. You see how rigged this stuff is? The Miami Dolphins quarterback is 20-9 for his career, and became 7-1 against the Browns for the season. So we had the Dolphins. We had the Minnesota Vikings, and like I said, I got another game, and I forgot what was the other game. And we also had the Brooklyn Nets yesterday, which you could parlay with the picks today because I put out these picks a few days ago. So all this for little old $10 a month. Yeah. So I'll leave it there. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Yeah, and just wake up, man. These games are a fucking joke. 81-yard run, then the team becomes 8-1. Oh boy.